People, power, purpose. That's what it all comes down to, right? At the end of the day, no matter the scenario, we must always answer to our people. We must power rural America, and we must never forget our purpose. I'm going to take this theme and work backwards because I want to start with what brought us here today, our purpose, and end with my favorite part, you. I'm a numbers guy, so bear with me just briefly, because I think the following dates say it all. In the mid-1930s, 90% of the rural homes had no electric service. My parents knew a life before electricity. Just think about that. It wasn't all that long ago. On May 11th, 1935, President Roosevelt established the Rural Electrification Administration. By 1949, rural electric systems doubled. Number of consumers more than tripled, and miles of line grew more than fivefold. By 1953, 90% of the U.S. farms had electricity. What a game changer. And a while later, our members formed Basin Electric to serve their supplemental power needs, realizing hanging together could get them farther. We collectively made this cooperative into something special indeed. 9 states, 138 cooperatives, 2.9 million consumers. You are Basin Electric. You power the heartland of America. When I say power, I don't mean just electrify. You are the co-op that secured a Red Leg loan to see to it that your community had daycare when no one else saw the economic benefit of starting a daycare in a tiny community. You are the co-op that started a community-wide Thanksgiving dinner when you saw one of your own lose his wife to cancer and spend Thanksgiving alone. You are the co-op that united and electrified a flooded-out park, the community hub, a park served by an IOU. You are the co-op that invested in its youth because you realize they do care about more than their iPhones. So you started the Co-op Leadership Program. You are the co-op that decided to become solar experts, not because it was lucrative or easy, but rather because your members had questions and you wanted to help. And you are the co-op who wrapped its arms around nearly 50 families facing childhood cancer, providing them clothing for long hospital stays, and raised $1.9 million for research so that one day we will find a cure for cancer. Yes, you know our purpose. Our purpose is to take care of each other, solve problems in our community, and indeed power our communities. Basin Electric must never lose sight of that. There was no bigger proof of our commitment than this year, when we faced many monumental changes in the way we do business. While some may think it would be easy to lose sight of who we are and focus more on the market and the bankers, Basin Electric carefully, diligently, and purposely continue to make all decisions based on what is in the best interest of our members. You'll hear more about our integration with SPP. This was a first for Basin Electric, a first for Western Area Power Administration, and a first for SPP. Integrating into this system was a complex move that culminated after years of analysis, due diligence, and work with our membership. It hasn't been easy, and some cooperatives are seeing more benefit than others, but collectively, the Basin Electric family realized this move would better position the cooperative to meet your needs, allow for growth, and provide access into the market where we were previously isolated. And while this will impact our future supply planning and it changes our relationship with Western, we are collectively committed to working with each other into the future in a new way. The other pivotal decision for us came earlier this spring when we bought out of the Rural Utilities Service, formerly known as the Rural Electrification Administration. ending a long-standing relationship and adding a new chapter to our history book. Paul will speak more on this, but the strength of our members spoke volumes when we went to raise the necessary capital to take on our debt. Backed by the commitment of our members, who recently renewed all requirement contracts to the year 2075. It doesn't get much more stable and unified than that. Before I move on, I want to share a bit about the board's commitment to our purpose. Last year, I spoke about revitalizing our cooperative roots. This year, the rubber met the road. As a board, we started at the beginning by reviewing our statement of ideals and objectives, our mission statement, and our board policies. We had long conversations about the course we're setting for Basin Electric, making sure it is reflected in those documents. After several redline drafts, we refined our board policies, and through close work with the Resolutions Committee, had an updated statement of ideas and objectives and mission statement for you to consider. You'll hear more from the Resolutions Committee, but I want to share with you the proposed mission statement. Basin Electric Power Cooperative provides reliable, low-cost wholesale power, along with value-added products and services to support and unite rural America. We are a member-owned, democratically controlled organization focused on professional excellence, social responsibility, a culture of safety, and excellent member service. It's imperative that we are all on the same page about who we are and where we are going. In my opinion, never has it been more important that we stick together and harness our grassroots. The Clean Power Plan was discussed earlier today. You heard what we're up against. I'm not going to repeat it, but this is where you come in. You'll hear reports from John Jacobs about our generation fleet, and you'll hear from Matt Greet and Dave Rotz about our future fleet. I will say this over and over again. Basin Electric has a tremendous story to tell, and it's reflected in our sky blue generation fleet. From our coal-based units that started with a spark of innovation and our hundreds of wind turbines that canvass the prairie, to our gas peaking units that were built to address load at the Williston Basin. We operate a clean fleet, and we do it safely. But a good portion of our fleet is under attack. You'll hear much more from Basin Electric in the coming months and years, and this is where you will come into play. We will need your help. We will need your voice, and we will need your members' voices. Lastly, this brings me to my favorite part. People, the heart and soul, the sugar and spice, and everything nice of Basin Electric. As Basin Electric evolves, so do our people. We must create a path for this future and give them the opportunity to absorb Basin Electric's culture. You will hear more about our efforts, and one example is the board's authorization of the headquarters building. This will allow all our headquarters employees to be under one roof, rather than spread out across 4 locations. We believe this move will further enhance teamwork, collaboration, and support our training and development efforts. Every step we've taken this year, whether for our employees or you, our members, is to strengthen the Basin Electric family, a family made up of some of the most talented and committed folks I know. It's our employees who worked every weekend for the past 57 weeks integrating with SPP. It's you, our members, who traveled to DC and brought your consumers' voices to the table during meetings with the congressional delegations and EPA. It's our elected officials who arranged for EPA Administrator Gina McCarthy to come to North Dakota and face the industries impacted by this rule. It's those high school students touring our coal-based facilities like 17-year-old Jessie Cridler of Michigan, who wrote Basin Electric wondering if he should still pursue a career in power plant technology in light of the regulations. And it's these second graders from Highland Acres Elementary who not only helped plant Basin Electric's community garden, but decided to plant their own so they too could give back to their community. You are the co-op who wraps its arms around a community while flexing your muscles and having the audacity to fight for what's right. Why? Because quite simply, you are protecting what matters most: people, power, purpose. Without it, there is no Basin Electric. Before I introduce Paul Sukat, I'd like to introduce my fellow board members. Serving with these fine individuals is a privilege, and I'm honored to represent them here today. Kermit Pearson represents East River Electric Power Cooperative, District 1 in Madison, South Dakota. Kermit is the Vice President of the Basin Electric Board. Gary Drost represents District 2, L&O Power Cooperative in Rock Rapids, Iowa. Gary is the Secretary-Treasurer on the Basin Electric Board. Arden Fuher represents District 3, Central Power Electric in Minot, North Dakota. Arden is a Vice Chairman of the Dakota Gas Company. Don Applegate represents District 4, NIPCO, Lamars, Iowa. He is the Chairman of the Dakota Gas Board. Lil Brekel represents District 5, Tri-State G&T in Denver, Colorado. Roberta Rohrer represents District 6, Central Montana in Great Falls. She is Assistant Secretary on the Basin Electric Board and Chairman on the Dakota Coal and Montana Limestone Boards. Mike McQuiston represents District 7, Rushmore Electric in Rapid City, South Dakota. He is the Treasurer on the Dakota Coal and Montana Limestone Boards. Alan Thiessen, as I said, represents District 8, Upper Missouri G&T in Sidney, Montana. He is Treasurer on the Dakota Gas Board. Paul Baker from District 10, Powder River Energy Corporation, Sundance, Wyoming. And Charlie Gilbert represents District 11, Corn Belt Power Cooperative in Humboldt, Iowa. Charlie is the Vice Chairman of the Dakota Coal and Montana Limestone Boards. On our Dakota Gasification Company Board, we have 3 external directors: Jim Geringer, Alan Klein, and Tom Owens.